Olivie Blake, you owe me a new highlighter. One eyeball out the other. Little tongue. What's up, it's Jan, back at it again with another nerdy bookish video. This is gonna be my January cramming vlog. Hi, we're starting yet another reading vlog. We're doing the simultaneous thing again. I've been doing it all month. It's really driving me nuts, but I want to vlog every book. I just can't help it. Okay, so I have a TBR that I will hopefully fulfill because I have been thinking about these 3 books for months now. If you're new here, hi, my name is Jan. I do these cramming vlogs every single month at the end of the month. And I was actually gonna be like, you know what? I have too many projects going on. I'm just gonna skip this month. And I just can't. My personality, I just can't. I can't get myself to not, because I've been doing it for what, like 2 years straight now? Okay, I can't miss one. In January especially, to kick off the year, hell no. I am going to do this. I'm gonna read at least 2 of these 3 books. Usually I read a lot more in these cramming vlogs, but it's currently January 26th. Oof. It's currently January 26th. Yikes. Okay, well, we're gonna try our darndest, okay? So the first one is a shorty patorti, La Petite More. This is on my 25 for 2025. This is by Olivie Blake. Oh, I actually have 2 Olivie Blake books, but this one is a little vampire novella, so it would be great if I could finish this and check it off my 2025 TBR. This one I feel like I have to read in January because it's called Januaries. Like, I have to. I bought this in Tennessee with my friend KK. This is a story collection by Olivie Blake. It says stories of love, magic, and betrayal. And I feel like this is the perfect balance of like magical realism that I've been craving. So I'll probably just read like a story at a time instead of like all the way through, you know? And I'll like bounce around books. I bounce around books a lot because I get bored with the genres and stuff. I'm currently reading like 14, 15 books already. Not like actively, but that's how many books are in my currently reading tab on Goodreads. We're just gonna make it worse because that's what we do on this channel. And then lastly, I have The Favorites by Lane Fargo. So many of my patrons want my thoughts on this book, and I want my thoughts on this book. I have just been staring at it ever since I've heard, you know, honestly, its release. Because Lane Fargo wrote They Never Learn, and I love They Never Learn. This is like a different direction that she's taking. It's more like Taylor Jenkins Reid-esque. I've heard it compared to Magnolia Parks in its toxicity, which is scary to me because I DNF'd that at 100 pages in. And I know there's a lot of interviews and stuff. The chapters are really short. There's a lot of figure skating. I think I'm just gonna try a chapter of each book today, or a story for this one, I guess, and see what happens. It's Sunday. We're maybe going to the movies tonight. We don't know yet, but I'm also filming my 3rd Keep It or Kick It episode, as well as my horror Goodreads vlog that is just endless at this point, but we're gonna keep on trucking along and film this cramming vlog as well. So sorry if it's not as many books as usual, but hopefully I get to at least these 3. But yeah, this is when I just go balls to the wall and read as much as humanly possible to cram at the end of the month, hit some reading goals. I actually hit all my reading goals this month already, so this is gonna be as stress-free as possible, hopefully, because I have stressors from all other angles, and this does not need to add on to that list. So yeah, my camera's flashing. I hope you enjoy this vlog. I'll talk to you when I have some sort of reading update. Okay, bye. Okay, hi, I'm here with an update, a good one. I finished the first story in January's, and it was called The Wish Bridge. I really liked how there was like some magic, and then there was this romance that was kind of forbidden, kind of not. I don't know, the way it was written was so transportive, is that the word? Olivie Blake has a way with words, and I just can't explain it. I've read The Atlas Six, I've read Alone with You in the Ether, and she's part Filipino. When I read short stories collections, I rate each story. I know some people are against that because it's like an overall theme or whatever. I don't know. I've heard people having qualms about people who rate story collections per story and then average them out or whatever, or just get a feeling by the end. I don't know. I like rating each story. The first story is 4 stars for me. It was 30 pages long. Essentially, it's this girl who is this bridge guardian. She has this little monologue where she has to say it to everyone who finds this bridge. She can grant you a wish or tell you a truth, but not both. She can forgive you a sin or permit you a wrong, but not both. She can also give something back that you've lost lost, or remove something you wish to have excised, but not both. So then she grants all these wishes and does whatever these people tell her to do that they want. And then there's this other side plot with this group of characters who all know each other, and they all kind of wish for certain things and request certain things that give it like a full circle type of moment. I don't really know how to explain it without spoiling anything, but it was interesting. It was entertaining. There was some humor. She had a little bit of sass towards some of these people. You could tell she was getting kind of tired of her duties. She comes across, or I guess he comes across her, this guy named Niall. There's a little bit of a romance and stuff. I like the turns that this story took. I'm gonna try to do a mini review for each story if I can, but that was a good way to start this. I think for this vlog, when I finish other books for other vlogs, I'll count it towards my total books read for my cramming vlog, but since obviously they're in other vlogs, I'll just have my full thoughts on there, and I'll just talk about my progress on here as opposed to my thoughts and ratings and things like that, you know what I mean? So for example, I'm reading Love Unwritten for another vlog, so I'll be continuing this. I'm currently 196 pages in, and yeah, at the end of the cramming vlog, we'll maybe calculate pages, but definitely count up how many books I finish within these last 5 days of the month. That's the plan, Jan. And I'll talk to you later when I read more of probably January's, or when I start the favorites. By the looks of it, I think I'm gonna continue this first before starting anything else.
You know a bit about music?
My father used to play in the orchestra back at home.
Hey there. I'm currently working from home. I'm just working a half day because the mental space is not great. I probably shouldn't have taken a half day, but I just don't feel well. I just filmed a reel for work, so I'm taking a little break and updating y'all. I read the second story in January's. I also finished Blood Like Mine. Those final thoughts will be in my horror vlog, but that's another book in this vlog, technically, but not like in this vlog. You know what I mean? Well, that would be my first book that I finished this week. I need to step it up. I read the second story. I'm 50 pages in now. It was called The Audit. It was kind of weird. So first it started out as like a sci-fi type of story. At first I was like, okay, I really hope this goes the Black Mirror route versus anything else. Because that's the only type of sci-fi I kind of enjoy consuming is Black Mirror episodes. Then it turned into this like mundane Sally Rooney-esque type of writing. There's this guy who has agoraphobia who lives either above or below our main character, whose name I don't even know, to be honest. They have a partner named Francis. They talk to the person with agoraphobia every day, and the story is told with like timestamps, so that made it easy to read because it was split by times. They were like little chunks. I gave it 4 stars because I didn't really understand the ending, to be honest. I just really liked the writing style. I liked that it read like Sally Rooney because I am a Sally Rooney girly. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got. It didn't lean as sci-fi as I thought it would from the beginning. There was just like a lot of money and superficial talk involved. That's that. There was no magic really in that one. The next story is called Sucker for Pain, and that one's like 42 pages, and then we're in part 2. Maybe I'll read that tonight, but I think for the rest of today, I'll switch around between the favorites and Love Unwritten. I'm reading Love Unwritten for my Keep It or Kick It vlog. There's a lot going on, sorry. But I did end my horror vlog today, so that is one vlog out of my head. I would love to also just read like a shorty patorty, like maybe I'll start La Petite more. At the same time, I don't want to read 2 Olivia Blake books simultaneously. I definitely want to make some headway into the favorites though, because I keep seeing it everywhere. I just watched Sarah Caroli talk about the favorites, so I think that's the one I'm gonna mostly read today, hopefully, maybe. I don't know what I'm in the mood for. Look at his little tongue. Oh my god. Alright, it is now like 11 p.m. Sorry if you could hear Joey's shower in the background. I have read more of the favorites whilst on sprints with Katie, because we did sprint over on Patreon, but I'm still only on page 88. To be fair, I read Blood Like Mine all of this morning, so I did hit my 100-page goal. I'm liking this. I'm just reading it so slowly for some reason. I think I can get invested in the story. It's just taking me a little bit. I always find myself zoning out a little bit during the interview portions, at least for now. But I found myself wincing, physically wincing, when they would like fall on the ice or mess up their routine a little bit. I guess I'm more interested in figure skating than I thought. I used to take ice skating lessons when I was younger, so I was like fascinated by being on ice. I've never wanted to be a figure skater or anything, but I guess I just didn't realize how fascinated I was by these routines, even just from words on paper. Like I said, I don't usually visualize things. Did I say that in this vlog? I don't know. I say it all the time though. I don't usually visualize things, but especially in terms of making books play out like movies in my head. But it's been happening more and more recently. My brain really said new year, new me. I guess I wasn't really expecting too much commentary for some reason. I don't know. I guess it's kind of lit ficky in a way, so I should have known. But the idol that our main female character looks up to is an Asian American woman, Chinese American woman to be exact. During this interview, they mentioned that she was doing an interview in the late 90s and she was asked, do you consider yourself a role model as the first Chinese American woman to win the Olympic gold in ice dance? And then she interrupted the interviewer and was like, I think you mean the first American woman. I'm the first and so far the only American woman to win an Olympic gold medal in ice dance. For Lynn and Lockwood, the best any American team did was bronze. So yes, I do consider myself a role model for all American women. That was like queen shit, because the fact that she called him out on that is the same energy as when you have a successful woman or any successful person in a minority group in a white male dominated industry or just environment. They always ask like, how does it feel to be a blank person in insert white male dominated industry / environment here? You know what I mean? It's always the question, like, why can't it just be like, how do you feel being in this environment or in this work environment versus how does it feel being a woman in this? That's not like the same thing, but the principle is there. So that's what got me to be like, okay, this book's gonna get deep. Also, what is our main character's name? I keep forgetting her name. Katarina. Her brother Lee is a piece of shit, and it reminds me, like, in my head, his face is just Marianne's brother in the Normal People adaptation. I am almost on chapter 18. I'm definitely gonna cross the 100-page mark. I don't know how far I'm gonna be able to read. I took like an hour-long nap earlier, and tomorrow's Wednesday, so I could stay up later than I usually do because it is already 11 o'clock. And by later, I mean like maybe 1 o'clock. But if Joey falls asleep, there's a good chance that I'm gonna fall asleep shortly after. So I'm gonna keep reading this. I'll talk to y'all later. Wednesday. I have makeup on from last night. We're gonna ignore that. I'm about to get ready to go to a coffee shop, but I've been reading The Favorites all morning. I stayed up a little bit later and I got to page 125 last night. Now I'm on page 250. It's so addictive. It's so addictive. I think it's definitely gonna be 5 stars for me. I just don't know if it's gonna make it to my top 10 of the year type of level of 5-star. I will say I didn't realize how much I gave a fuck about figure skating until this book. Like usually, especially like the Olympics, I used to watch the Olympics and then I stopped caring. I just try to stay off social media now every time the Olympics are around. But usually when you read a book with like sports and stuff and they talk about all the cities they travel and like where they are, which arena they're in or whatever, which stadium, that's all just one eyeball out the other. I was gonna say one ear out of the other, but like it doesn't make sense because I'm reading it with my eyeball. Anyway, I did start following along with the audiobook because I could not stop reading even when I was switching out my laundry and stuff. It's enjoyable. I learned that Veronika Volkova is actually pronounced Veronica, so there's that. There were some jaw-dropping moments. I will say it does feel like a Taylor Jenkins Reid ripoff just a little bit, especially because there was this one reveal. It was quite similar to Evelyn Hugo. There's just a lot going on. That's why it's so addictive, because there are so many moving parts. There are so many characters getting into so many situations, betrayals and lies and manipulation just to get to the top. Everyone's aware that basically nothing is authentic other than Heath and Kat. Everyone's just aware that everyone else's primary goal is to win. Everyone's just on edge, and I just wouldn't want to live that way. So yeah, I think I'm definitely gonna finish this today, and then we can move on to a different book for this vlog, because I do want to read at least 3 books in this this vlog as usual, which is low for a cramming vlog, but this one's a big girl. I don't know what I'm gonna pick up after, hopefully January's, but I kind of want to start a different book as well. But right now I'm hooked, I'm glued. I can't take my eyes off these pages. It was hard for me to stop just to update this vlog. The chapters are so short, and then when the chapters end, there are these interviews and they don't even have page numbers, so my brain is like, okay, let me get to the next page number so I know what page I'm on to like update and stuff. I am really enjoying this. I'm so glad I'm as obsessed as I thought I would be. But if you told me that Taylor Jenkins Reid wrote this, I would have believed you in a heartbeat. I think I'm gonna go to this cafe called Two Libras Cafe. I went with Joey a couple weeks ago and I really loved the latte I got, so I'm gonna go there. I need to edit and upload my winter ween vlog today. That would be ideal. It's 9:30 right now. I'm gonna get ready, finish my laundry up, and then I'm gonna head out. So that's gonna be my Wednesday. I'll take you to the coffee shop with me. It's gonna be a cute, fun time. Hi, the sun is shining, my dudes. Oh my god, there's hell, of course, the people right next to me are getting in their car right now. This book, I cannot look away. This book has reinvigorated my love for reading. Like, this has reminded me why I love reading so much. The drama is so juicy. I don't know why I care so much. It's literally like reading a reality TV show. It truly, truly does feel like a Taylor Jenkins Reid book. And if you didn't know, Taylor Jenkins Reid is one of my favorite authors. I know she has her issues, but prior to hearing about all of that, I have read all her books as they came out. Well, not as they came out, but my first one was Evelyn Hugo, and then ever since then, I've read every single book, plus her backlist. Other than Malibu Rising, and I believe maybe In Another Life, which I do want to reread because I was young and naive. Everything was 4 or 5 stars for me. Why am I talking about Taylor Jenkins Reid? This isn't Taylor Jenkins. See what I mean? Like, I forget that I'm not reading Taylor Jenkins Reid. But yeah, there are some heartbreaking moments, there are swoony moments, there are intense moments. You know how I said I wasn't into the interview portions? Now I am. Now I'm invested. Now I enjoy those interviews because it's fully doing the back and forth, like, here's what's happening, here's what happened, and then here are all of the characters' reactions to what happened. I'm loving it. I have 150 pages left. I read a lot in the coffee shop. I didn't even finish editing. I have like 20 minutes left to edit my winter ween vlog, but I just had to continue reading. I couldn't help myself. I just got some food for Joey and I, and I'm gonna go pick up my birth control and then go home, grub, and then continue reading and editing for the rest of the day. I did finish 2 loads of laundry this morning, but I think I have about 2 loads left, so maybe I'll do that later as well. It's really sunny. It's really nice out. It's like 45 degrees right now. Maybe I'll take a walk or something later. Here with a 5-star update. Yes, this was everything I was hoping for. Yes, yes, yes to everything that happened in this. It was messy. It was the right amount of messy that I was craving in a book. Taylor Jenkins Reid's next book doesn't come out till June, and I feel like this is exactly what I needed right now. It was so fast-paced, and speaking of TJR, I know I keep mentioning her, but literally, it's Evelyn Hugo meets Daisy Jones meets Carrie Soto. It's like the attitude of Evelyn Hugo, the fame and everything, and the storytelling aspect, but then the interview format is Daisy Jones, and like the messiness, the way the characters interact and their relationships and everything and their dynamic is Daisy Jones. Carrie Soto is like the sports aspect, the determination, the female empowerment, and just like the desire to win and be the best. It's a combination, and then just make it ice skating or figure skating, and that's this. I was hooked. I just could not look away. The drama was so juicy, and I don't know why. I don't know how, when, like at what point did it click for me that I cared about any of these characters. Honestly, not a single one of them was fully likable. Like, there was something flawed about all of them, and I think that's why I love this so much, because they were all so real. Their flaws were distinguishable. Like, they weren't really gray area flaws. You were able to pinpoint the things that they've done wrong and their motives and everything, and everyone had a motive for what they were doing. And then you, as a reader, reader could almost easily interpret why they each did what they did. Like, you can pinpoint their emotions, and I think that's why it was so, not relatable, but you were able to like empathize even when you know that they're doing unfavorable things, wrong things. For the majority of the book, I didn't understand why people hated Heath. A lot of the reviews I'm seeing, they're all just like, oh, Heath annoys the fuck out of me and blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like, I love Heath and I feel for him and I just want to protect him. And then towards the end, he did do things, but I love the way things wrapped up. If you've ever seen the show A Million Little Things, it had something similar to that as well. And I love that show so much. That show is like what I love in books too. Just like all these characters from different backgrounds and everything, and the storyline just coming together. I've talked about this before, but like that's why I love the movie New Year's Eve as well. I love that they all had distinct personalities as well, especially Ellis Dean. Like, come on. I enjoyed the interview aspect. I enjoyed the audiobook when I was following along. Pacing was great. It mentioned a couple places that I'm familiar with that I drive past on a regular basis. It was just odd to see certain places. I'm certainly keeping this on my shelves and I could totally see myself rereading this. If you're going into this expecting a thriller, anything remotely close to They Never Learn, you're not gonna get it. I think some people went into this hoping it had some sort of thriller aspect in it, and I did not. I was expecting Taylor Jenkins Reid and a messy romance, messy characters, and it delivered. I had that feeling, like down to the last line, I had that 5-star feeling. I'm getting the tingles right now. It's just, wow. This is gonna be on a lot of people's top 10 of the year. And honestly, by the end, I think it could be a contender for me as well. I'm gonna put it on the potentials list. But yeah, wow, 2 5-stars in a row. Love that. I think this is gonna be my best book of the month because my 3 5-stars of the month have been The Gathering, Blood Like Mine, and this. And I think this one's gonna take the cake. But let's do a fun fact. I think I've talked your ear off about this book enough. Okay, this I learned from this book. There's something called the kiss and cry, which is the area where skaters wait for their scores after a performance. Had no idea that was a thing. So there's a fun fact for you if you haven't read this. Tonight, I told Joey I want to watch a movie again because I just love watching movies with him, especially if I'm done with things I wanted to get done. Maybe I'll read one more story from January's. I have to finish editing my winter ween vlog and then we can chill and watch a movie. Hi, I don't remember the last time I updated, what I updated on, where I updated, but if this was the same angle, I'm sorry. I have an update on January's. I got to part 2, which is summer, and this gorgeous, gorgeous illustration. The third story was called A Sucker for Pain, and it has two of my favorite supernatural creatures. I bet you can guess one just from the title. That one's my favorite story so far. I gave it 5 stars. Like at first, it was gonna be 4 stars because it was a little bit slow, couldn't really get into it, and then the reveal came up. Even then I was like, okay, this is still feeling like a 4-star because nothing's really happening. It's just your typical story about that specific creature. The ending is what made it 5 stars. I liked the twist. I liked juxtaposition. I don't know what to call it, but I just liked how it ended. So now we're in part 2. The next story is called The Animation Games, and it's your typical story that starts with Once Upon a Time. There's something about that like scratches your brain. It just feels so nostalgic, so classic. It's about 40 pages. So we'll try to finish that. I took a Patreon poll, a Carmilla Patreon poll, asking which book I should end the month with. If I want to finish this or start a new book, start a shorty patorty. This one won by a lot because my patrons know that if they don't force me to finish my current reads, I'm never gonna do that. And the fact that it's January's in January, my name's Jan, it's only fitting. So like, thank you, my Carmillas, but also kind of wish I could start a new book. I technically did start a new book though, regardless. I don't have my bag with me, but from the library, I checked out When Haru Was Here by Dustin Tao. They are the author of You've Reached Sam, which I sobbed about. Oh my god, I'm still getting comments on that video. Like that is one of my most highly, like best performing videos. I don't know why. I think it's because I was sobbing in the thumbnail. I don't know. But it was like a dedicated reading vlog to You've Reached Sam. It's like a random YA contemporary romance. Like why is it doing so well? I don't know. But that was from like 3 years ago. ago and it's still getting comments. But anyway, this is their newest book. It's also supposed to be heart-wrenching, so I started it and I flew through the first like 15 pages. So I think I'm gonna try to read that as soon as possible too, but I think my priority will be January's. I'll just focus on this vlog and do my keep it or kick it February. I don't know what I'm doing. I do know that we're about to go to Mama Agaton's house because my Humira is over there and it's Humira day, so I gotta pick up my meds and have dinner with my parents, and then I have to set up my February bujo. So I was like, Joey, let's watch a movie and I'll set up my bujo, and then tomorrow's Friday and the last day of this vlog and this month, and I'm really hoping I finish at least January's, but also hopefully 2 more books. It's been a struggle. A train has stopped me, so I figured I'd update. I don't really have an update. I just don't think I'm gonna finish another book today. This is such a fail of a cramming vlog. Oh god. Okay, I'm gonna be driving. Do not try this at home, kids. I won't look at the camera. It's raining so hard, if you could hear that. I'm feeling a little bit sick, just a little bit. It was so hard to get up and get ready today. I read a little bit of January's short story collections. It's so hard for me because short stories are usually like 20 to 40 pages, sometimes longer. It's just so hard for me because they're like chapters. But I'm really liking When Haru Was Here, how fast it's reading because it's YA contemporary, which I barely read anymore unless it's an author that I really like. I'm gonna try my best to finish a book tonight, but it's looking like I'm just gonna read my 100 pages and call it a night. We'll see. It depends what we end up doing tonight. Last night my closet collapsed again, so instead of trying to put all my hoodies, because y'all know how many hoodies and crew necks I have, my hoodies back up there, I put them on the floor and I like rearranged my closet basically. So I did that instead of reading a ton. I'm sorry that this cramming vlog is not great. And then tomorrow I'm gonna try to do a 24-hour readathon, but I'm only gonna be reading 1 book, aka my full moon book club pick. So I don't know how February is gonna look. January was okay for reading wise. I think I'm at 22 books, which isn't terrible. I think I only read 1 manga maybe. I don't know if I read any graphic novels, and I think I only read like 2 audiobooks. I read a lot of full novels is what I'm trying to say. So 22 isn't bad to start off the year, but usually January is one of my best reading months and I usually hit high 20s or even low 30s, but alas. I'm gonna see if I have an umbrella because this is ridiculous. I'll talk to you later. We're gonna end the vlog tonight, see how much reading I can get done. This month has just been a cycle of 3 to 4 vlogs going on at once. I did it to myself, whatever, and it'll probably happen again next month because I just want to read it all and vlog it all for y'all, you know? I forgot to mention, so January's, as well as a lot of Olivia Blake's books, if not all of her books, have footnotes, and I usually hate footnotes, but Olivia Blake does it so well sometimes. Some of them are so funny. The story that I'm in right now, I'm actually really liking. It's another revenge story. It's great. This story collection has a lot of supporting women's wrongs and revenge stories and like good for her type of vibe. I mean, that's not really what I was expecting, but I'm glad it's happening. It's feeling like 4 or 5 star right now, actually. I just hope I can finish it today. I still have more than half the book left. But in this story, it's like a love story, but someone dies and then there's revenge. I can't say anything else. The footnotes were funny, is all I'm gonna say. So I would read them. Don't skip over them as much as you want to in Olivia Blake's books. I feel like some of them are pointless information, but some of them are entertaining. The story that I'm in called The Animated Games or whatever, it's probably gonna be 4 or 5 stars. I'm really enjoying it. Okay, quick update. I officially love the story that I'm at right now. The animation games, their banter is so good. They're playing this game. These animation games are very intense. All I'm gonna say is it reminds me of Hilga, is it Hilga or Helga? And Zelda in Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, specifically in season 1 when they play a little game. If you know, you know. It's so much fun in the darkest way. It's probably gonna be a 5-star story. Once things started going, and the fact that they used to be lovers just makes it all the better. I just love mutually fucked up characters. Hey, hi, hello. I have an update. This is probably gonna be 5 stars, solely because of the story called The House. It's the shortest one so far, 3 pages. That's not why though. To make it even better, listen, my highlighter ran out of ink basically. Olivia Blake, you owe me a new highlighter because look at this. I could have highlighted the entire page and I was like, this is excessive and my eyeballs probably won't want to read this if I do the entire page. But I just need to read most, if not all, of these highlights because if this doesn't convince you to read this book, I don't know what will, especially if you like good, well-worded writing about love. This is specifically about marriage. There's not really a plot in this story, but it's really just all about marriage. This person's getting married. This is advice. Basically. Not advice, kind of. It's in second person. Okay, ready? If you don't want me to read a whole paragraph to you, just skip a couple minutes. Okay? Okay. Cue black and white effect, which is to say that in marriage, there are consequences. The decisions you make today will impact an argument you have 10 years from now. 10 years from now, learning something new about the person you already know by heart will sweeten the promises you make today. Because you, as you are now, will not exist in this form forever. Your spouse in the future is technically someone you have yet to meet. Your marriage is, likewise, a shape-shifting entity, one that demands evolution. And while all relationships are alive in this way, marriage is particularly architectural. By choosing marriage, you are entangling lives and thoughts and beliefs and dreams that can never be fully extricated. You're making vows to each other that will be significant self-fulfillingly because you made them at all. You are looking each other in the eyes and saying the word forever. And while the act of making a promise of such magnitude is already a blind leap of faith, the act of choosing to accept it is terror itself, and therefore this today is an act of incredible dauntlessness. You, as you stand here today, are a miracle of happenstance and fate, because to allow yourself to be known is to allow yourself to be wounded. If intimacy is handing someone knives and saying, please don't stab me with those, then marriage is shedding your armor too. It's saying to the person you've chosen that you accept their love and plan to honor it, that your vulnerability comes at a high price, but a worthy one, that you will willingly suffer when they suffer, because your solitary peace is unmatched by the peace you share with them. Are you joking? Are you joking? And then there's this whole analogy with like building a marriage, building a house thing, okay? You could build this house on your own, but I think we all know it wouldn't be as interesting. It wouldn't be as weird, and I mean that in the truest sense. That real, awe-inspiring greatness only comes from divergence, from the weirdness that invention brings. It comes from the place where your passion and theirs intersect. So to answer this incredibly annoying question for you, will it feel different being married? Yes, and what a luxury it is to be this in love and to build this life from nothing. After today, everything will be different. You will each be braver, steadier, and capable of dreaming bigger dreams because you both know you have a place to call home. I just need to take a moment of silence. Like, reading that out loud gave me goosebumps. I sent that to Joey. He said, that literally just gave me goosebumps. Holy fuck, that's intense. First of all, get you a partner who will actually read the quotes that you send to them from books, okay? Second of all, that is just one of the most beautiful things I've ever read, like, hands down in my entire life. That gave me a dowry of blood feelings. 5 stars to that story. I still have a good amount of this book to go. We shall see if I could spend my Friday night locked away and reading this book. Locked and loaded, just hooked into this book. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm kind of delulu today because I don't feel all here. I don't feel 100%. I think Joey got me a little bit sick. Plus the weather changing back and forth. My throat feels weird. I sound weird. I don't want to stay up too late tonight because tomorrow I want to wake up really early to do a 24-hour readathon for my full moon book club because I want to get the Grady Hendrix book over with as soon as possible. So the goal would be to finish this tonight. I'm losing a little bit of hope, but it's also possible now that I know she can write like that. Also, I started the audiobook for Minor Detail. This is a novella. I thought this was a nonfiction, but I don't want to really like talk about it just in case I don't do it justice because I know I won't. I want to read the synopsis verbatim to y'all. I just don't have my phone with me right now. Essentially, it's devastating. It's sad, sad. It's about war. It's about very traumatic things. I'll just read y'all the synopsis later. I've seen this book going going around. All along I thought it was a nonfiction. It reads like a memoir. The audiobook's good. The narrator has a really melancholy tone, as they should, because the book is a very melancholy tone all throughout. It's very much like As Long as the Lemon Trees Grow, but you feel less connected to the characters because I don't even think they said anyone's name really. It's just like the girl and the soldiers. I could be wrong though, but I mean, it feels like a 5-star read. I'll probably give it 5 stars. The only reason why I would give it a 4 is because I don't feel connected to the characters. At the same time, I feel like it's one of those, it's so close to a human experience that it feels wrong if I don't give it 5 stars. I just don't want to say anything that might come off wrong because it's just such a hard-hitting, intense, trauma-filled book that's rooted in that's like based on true historical events. Event is a weird word. It's heart-wrenching and it's really a sad way to end the month, but I think I'm like 40% through it. I don't know if I'll finish it tonight though, but I started it. I'm so tired. As always, this is as good as it's gonna get. What movie? Anyway, okay, I just cannot resist. I need to read another paragraph. I need to. I won't say what story it is, just to keep that a mystery, but I need to, because this is like a Dowry of Blood type of level. I'm not even joking. Okay, so the first paragraph is about the repetition of days and how each day could feel like the same thing over and over, like cyclic type of situation, okay? Which is quite relatable. And then the second paragraph is tying that notion to how much this guy loves this girl and how he would literally take crumbs and just sacrifice the excitement in his life and everything to like be with her. Okay, let's just cue the black and white once again. It's easy to tire of beautiful things. Watch the sunrise from your bed each morning and it loses its majesty, becomes white noise. Reverence collapses, terror fades. Boredom is woefully accessible. There's an oppressive sameness to doing things that will never change, to living days that are carbon copies of each other. Repetition is the beast of captivity, habit the tyrant of awe. The tyrant of awe, bro. Like, excuse the fuck out of me. How do you just come up with that? How does your brain put words together like that in this day and age? Like, this is some Jane Austen type shit. All right, next. He would have traded euphoria just to keep her, to make her the subject of his tedium, to live a colorless life in the shade of her bones, in the sound of her breath, knowing and eternally recounting the monotony of her details until he ground himself down to nothing, never learning or experiencing another beautiful thing. Some creatures were more dangerous than others. Addiction was a venom. That just like alters my brain chemistry. There's something in this writing. This is why I haven't finished this book yet. I'm not necessarily reading it slowly, it's just there's so many notable quotes that I need to highlight and read about 7,000 times before I move on. No exaggeration. That's crazy. Like, tell me that's not some of the most beautiful writing you've ever heard. Tell me.
Eh?
Did you listen to what I read?
Yeah, I heard bits and pieces, but that was really confusing. I didn't understand the vocab.
It's so good. I think it's safe to say that I'm not finishing this book tonight because I also feel like I'm on the verge of death. Again, no exaggeration. But I still have like 220 pages left. There's no fucking way. So January's will be finished in February. I'm thinking of doing another one of those ultimate book videos if everything goes to plan. Because in this first week before Jante's Inferno, we have a lot of plans. There's some really good new releases coming out. I could pick my Aardvark books tomorrow. You know what? I'm gonna start it tomorrow. I'm gonna pick my Aardvark books. I'm gonna pick my ALCs, and that'll be part of the ultimate book video. Maybe I'll buy a new bookshelf.
That could be saucy.
We'll see.
You gotta clear some room first.
I guess you'll find out in the ultimate book video, winter edition, because I know some people really enjoyed my fall one and were requesting a winter edition, so here you go. I'm gonna keep reading. I'll end this vlog. I'll probably look progressively worse, but I'll end this vlog before I go to bed so then I can start fresh at like 5 a.m. tomorrow. She said hopefully. Okay?
Okay.
I love how I vlog and then Joey's like the audience to my Dora the Explorer. It's so
Do
great.
you see the map?
Good.
Good. Squidward. Good.
Good.
Damn, that was good. Killed that.
I'm here to end the vlog. Oh my god, I look like I'm part of my couch. I ended the night on page 180 of January's. I didn't even make it to the autumn part, but that's okay, I guess. And then I switched to when Haru was here to hit my 100 pages for the day, and I got to page 95. And I have no idea what's going on. What's in the synopsis? Yeah, I have no idea what's real. He has no idea what's real. Okay, so he lost his best friend. Best friend died. He goes to Japan. Actually, I think he went to Japan before. Okay, after the death of his best friend, Eric creates imaginary scenarios in his head to deal with his grief, until one of them becomes real when a boy he met in Japan last summer finds his way back into his life. Okay, yeah, so he met Haru in Japan, and then he goes back to Chicago, and then they find each other again, but like, is it real? Is he not? He keeps disappearing. Like, I have no idea what's going on. All I know is he keeps mentioning places I'm familiar with, like they're eating at Lou Malnati's right now, having deep dish pizza.
What the fuck? What's with these books lately?
I know. It's because Dustin Tao went to Northwestern, so that makes sense. But yeah, isn't this cover gorgeous though? I almost bought this from Bookends and Beginnings, but I didn't. And I'm kind of glad I didn't because, like I said, I don't really read YA contemporary anymore, and I probably wouldn't reread this. But You've Reached Sam, this author's debut, I would reread because I sobbed. Like I said, like I freaking could not control my tears with that book. But this one's not too sad yet. They just nonchalantly mentioned that Daniel died. They didn't talk about it yet. I don't know anything. That's that. Sorry this cramming vlog sucked. I just sucked all month with reading, to be honest. Next month will be better. During this week, I finished Blood Like Mine. I finished the favorites. At least we got a new favorite. 2 5 stars this week. And then that's it, right? That I finished. And then I started 3 more books. Oh my lord. This was the worst cramming vlog ever. But you know what? That's just the vibe of January this year, I guess. If you made it to the end of this video, let's put an ice skate emoji in the comments down below to represent the favorites. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to do some self-care. Hope you had a 5-star day, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.